donuts are great. Jelly-filled are my favorite.
Wait a minute, that's not a donut. With all the well-known memes and inside jokes of the Pokemon community, the most notorious has got to be the Jelly Donuts meme. This originates from episode 25 of the original anime series, Primeape Goes Bananas. No doubt a memorable episode as it's pretty early on and sees Ash capturing one of his iconic team members. So in this episode, Ash is feeling dejected after catching up with Professor Oak, and discovering the other trainers from Pallet Town are farther along their journey than he is. Brock and Misty attempt to cheer him up with some food.
These donuts are great. Jelly-filled are my favorite. Nothing beats a jelly-filled donut.
Alright, why is this such a big deal? Well, as I'm sure many of you astute anime fans will notice, this is not a donut, but is in fact a rice ball, called onigiri in Japanese, a popular little snack consisting of rice and a filling wrapped up in seaweed. But why is the English dub telling us that this is a donut? Well, the early dub of Pokemon was handled by a company known as 4Kids Entertainment, a name we're very familiar with here on the channel. Aside from just casting English voice actors to bring the anime to American audiences, some changes were made to make the show more accessible internationally, removing Japanese text and renaming some objects like the rice balls we see here. And this wasn't just done for American audiences, this was done for every other dub. Hypothetically, making Pokemon more accessible to a broader audience isn't a bad thing. It's just that the Jelly Donut incident has become so infamous because it's ultimately pretty unnecessary. Sure, calling this a donut instead of a rice ball doesn't change the core plot of the episode, themes of the series, or personality of the characters. But on the other hand, that goes to show that it wasn't needed at all. Honestly, I don't even remember registering this as a donut. There's one scene where we even get to see it partially bitten into, and even as a kid I could tell that that was rice. Though maybe that's just my experience because I grew up as a Mexican Arab in California. And because of that, I can walk right on over to the Japanese grocery store and purchase myself a rice ball for $1 and change. They've got quite a variety here. Whatever kind of mood you're in, there's a snack for that. Though in the Japanese dub of the anime, Brock mentions he's got two to choose from, either filled with pickled plums or kelp.
And I feel the best way to get a taste of everything that was in the anime was to, well, actually taste it. So I've got everything here with me. Those glamour shots weren't for nothing. So try pickled plum first. Yeah, that's definitely pickled. It's actually not bad. It's pretty strong, but it has a little bit of a sweet-ish taste. And now going with kelp. Yeah, that one's actually not bad. Definitely has that seafood taste, but mostly they're rice and seaweed across all of them. I normally have the tuna flake ones, and these don't taste too different aside from, like, they're less fishy.
But when it comes to this episode, Pokemon has never done a redub, so the official English version available on Pokemon TV, Netflix, the DVDs, and the Blu-rays, these are Jelly Donuts. And Pokemon has continued to make several cheeky references to Brock's famous Jelly Donuts in other media. So I suppose I should take a trip to the donut store and secure myself a Jelly Donut.
Although, to make it more anime accurate, I've actually got seaweed around a powdered Jelly Donut, so here we go. Is it weird to say that that actually tastes pretty good? So yes, anime accurate Jelly Donuts, I would give that a 6 out of 10, give or take.
Oh, but not so fast. That isn't the last we'll see of this delicious little treat. Because in future installments like episode 55, Pokemon Paparazzi, we see Brock actually making some.
These rice balls are pretty good.
Alright, now this is just getting confusing. Though I guess that because we actually get to see the process of making them, it's a little harder to explain it as anything else other than a rice ball. This is also a later episode, so maybe by the time the writers got to this point in the series, they figured that there was no use in attempting to localize the food. Either way, these are rice balls now, so we can rest easy. That is what I would say if it were that simple.
Look out, everyone! Run for cover!
Let's go.
Because later on during the Johto journeys, we're hit with episode 124, Snubble Snobbery, which reinvents the snack as popcorn balls.
Here you go, Snubble. Popcorn balls.
But Brock, there's no way Snubble's gonna want to eat them. Even I think they taste awful.
Yes, popcorn balls, the Halloween candy for old people.
I got a popcorn ball. I got her.
I mean, it's more believable than Jelly Donuts in terms of the shape, but once again does not change the context of the episode, while also not being a necessary change. Now, I wanted to buy a popcorn ball for this video, but it turns out nobody sells them outside of Halloween, so I decided to make them myself. Sure, it is literally only 3 ingredients, popcorn, marshmallows, and butter, but it was still more effort than I really should have put in, and yet here I am.
Yes, I've done it. I've just made my own popcorn ball. Was it worth it? We'll find out. Oh shoot, that's actually really good.
But now we move on to the Pokemon Advanced series, which has the unforgivable stuff. Episode 118 of Pokemon Advanced, Less is Morrison. In the original version, at one point Ash catches a giant rice ball that rolls down a hill only to be confronted by its owner. However, for some reason in the English dub, 4Kids decided to completely replace the rice ball with a sandwich. I don't even know how you can make a sandwich roll like that. While verbally referring to it as something else is still unnecessary, it at least is only part of the script writing and voice acting. Visually replacing it in the episode requires even more resources for a change that still ultimately doesn't matter and further alters the original intention. Sure, it still doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of the episode, but this was just about the height of unneeded and almost insulting localization.
And yes, you figured it out, this video is just an excuse for me to have lunch, so we've got a ham sandwich here. Not as big as the one we see in the anime, but it is a decent size hero. You know, I think sandwiches taste better if you're hungry, so this was actually tasted really good, but I think comparatively with everything else I've had so far, it's like middle of the road, 5 out of 10.
And even later in the episode, it's done yet again when Team Rocket are attempting to split the last of their food, and the rice ball is replaced with a single cracker. I actually find this one pretty funny because it makes them look even more out of luck than they already are. So weirdly enough, maybe in a way this is a better change because it makes it even funnier.
Ah yes, finally, cracker, a single cracker.
I'm actually going to take a step back to episode 91 of Pokemon Advanced, Judgment Day, where in a flashback we follow Jimmy and his war turtle as they're also on the last of their food, which is also a rice ball that falls into the mouth of an Ivysaur that they befriend. In the English dub it's replaced with a sandwich, though this is a different sandwich and it looks so bad. When it moves around you can really tell that it was very poorly edited in.
Well, it looks like we've got sandwich round 2. This one obviously just peanut butter and jelly from the looks of the ones in the anime, so we'll try it. Maybe it's because I made this one myself that it tastes so good.
And while those were mostly the major incidents concerning how the rice ball was changed in Pokemon, apparently they've also been referred to as onions at some point, though I'm unable to find the exact episode. Googling Pokemon Onion just brings up Ballister because that's his Japanese name, so I don't really have much to say about it in terms of the anime.
That's right, I ain't no chicken, this is an onion. Oh shoot. I do not recommend biting into an onion.
So at the end of the day, what did we really learn? Honestly, not a whole lot, just that early localized anime took some interesting turns in an attempt to appeal to the largest possible audience. There is so much worse that's been done in the name of localization than just calling a food by a different name, though thankfully we've sort of moved past that point. While the international dubbing for anime mostly aimed at a younger audience like Pokemon still goes through quite a few filters, it's at least generally understood that small things like food don't need to be changed. The suspension of disbelief is already in full swing watching cute little creatures with amazing abilities. I think that kids can accept a rice ball as a snack. And ever since the end of the Advanced series, the production of the English dub was taken over by the Pokemon Company International, and these type of edits are basically non-existent. The script of course will vary between each language, but at least we never see the sandwich PNG ever again. While I wanted to come out of this with some kind of better understanding or profound statement, I honestly think it's just a weird situation. Like I said, I'm not too bothered by it when you just change the script a little, though I wish we would have had some consistency, because we see the exact same food referred to as 3 different things. And when it comes to completely removing and replacing animation, that's unforgivable. Personally, my real big takeaway is that the first episode we discussed, Primate Goes Bananas, is genuinely hilarious. I brought it up to get the footage for this video, but ended up sitting to watch the entire thing. You're hit with jokes at near rapid fire and they all land perfectly, and the way it all wraps up with Ash triumphing in the end is nice. So I guess that's the lesson I want to leave with. Pokemon is a fun and goofy anime with a heartwarming message at its core, and I hope we can all enjoy it as such. No changes needed. So out of all the foods discussed today, let me know which one is your favorite, and if you have any memorable moments of the Pokemon anime that were a bit funky. All I know is that you should not eat these foods at the same time. I feel like SpongeBob after he ate that sundae and had the bad breath. What were you thinking, Brock? Thank you to every channel member for your continued support, especially the Great Gators, Justin, Cosmo Zero, Michaela, Mr. Pig Puncher, Phantom Pyro, Quago, Volity, and Pastel Blood. If you would like to support, get your name shouted out here, as well as access to emotes and comments to live streams, and maybe sometimes early videos, you can become a channel member today. You can also follow me on Twitter for more memes. But anyway, this has been GatorEX, and I'll catch you all later.
Pokémon